going on, beautiful people? CGR here with a new driving wisdom video. Wanted to talk, I'm going to call this one slowing down. Slowing down, yeah, I think that's a good name for this one. So slowing down is going to be about, I'm going to give you an example from my life of where I'm going to slow down right now, and then just talk about like areas that you might be able to apply this to your life. So well, I mean, before we even get started, like, do you know why it's even important to slow down sometimes, and why it's not good to always be going fast and like extreme and just never stopping to like smell the roses and stuff like that? I mean, the name of the game is stress reduction, right? We want to reduce stress in our life in general. It's okay to have stress when you're in a stressful environment, like you're at a job, or you know, you're at some sort of competitive environment like sports or e-games or something like that. Like, all of that is stressful, but stress helps in those situations because you want to activate, you know, your muscles, your fight or flight system. That's the right time to be stressed. But day to day, you're just working a job, or you're just like living day to day, you know, you're just coming home and you got a family, or you live by yourself, whatever the case may be. It's important to slow down sometimes because we get caught up a lot in this life. You know, we get caught up in the idea that we have to be perfect, we have to always do things right, and if we're not gaining something, we're somehow losing. And yeah, that's the perspective that I think came to me today that I wanted to share. So I'm gonna slow down in the sense of, I was at first thinking, as I've told some of you guys, I watched a channel called Diary of a CEO, and Steven and the host and a lot of his guests that are, you know, very wealthy, successful people, they all were saying, you know, don't worry about your metrics, which unfortunately, like 2 or 3 times I've got caught worrying about that, and it sucks when you go into that mode. Like, basically, don't worry about like the likes, views, subscriptions, comments, because all that stuff, there's so many people to watch out there right now. There's so many like content creators, influencers, all that kind of stuff, that, you know, it's not easy to just break onto the scene and automatically people are like, oh my god, I love your content, you know, I love you. I mean, it might be easier for some than others, but in my case, I kept to myself for a long time. I might still have some of that like loner energy going on. I mean, I have my wife and my kids, but in terms of like public facing stuff, I've been pretty quiet for a couple of years, haven't been doing much, and I did slow down a lot. But then, because I seen that I had some success losing weight, you know, I went from 344 to currently I'm fluctuating in the 250s. Last I checked, I was 256. A day before that, I was 254. A few days before that, I was 256 again. So yeah, this seems to be a little bit of a hurdle for me now, this the 250s. But anyway, yeah, I threw everything but the kitchen sink at that. You know, I did everything that I could. Weight training, before retatrutide, I was doing tirzepatide. Then I did weight training, keto diet, intermittent fasting, you know, and getting a lot of steps in, walking. And I seen that because I went kind of like intense, I was able to lose weight. So I started to apply that mentality to what I'm doing with my Lover's Compendium brand, with my CGR brand, the Author brand, you know. And it hasn't really been working how it was with the losing weight, because losing weight was something that I guess, you know, like you could see the effects right away. Now, I want to focus on the bright side. I have been seeing more views, and I keep on getting little notifications from like the social platforms and stuff like that saying like, wow, you got like X amount of views, like 1,000 views or something, feel good about yourself. And I'm like, it does feel good, but ultimately I'm not doing this for views and likes and all that stuff. But it's a double-edged sword, because I know that it's important. I know that the more views I get, the more likes I get, the more subscribers, the more comments that seem like they're, you know, like the more engagement you get, the more reach you have. But what I want ultimately is that reach. I want to reach the person. I want to reach those people that I know that my book will be able to help them to make their lives a little bit better, or at least to give them a perspective on how life can be a little bit better for them, you know? So I feel like, especially with this modern age, a lot of people don't know how to date. A lot of people don't know what they want, and they think they know what they want, but they really never sat down with themselves to be like, what do I actually want? What do I actually like? What do I actually not like? And I see that that's a problem that a lot of people have when they're dating, is usually they don't know what they want, they don't know what they like. And yeah, I mean, how do you make good dating decisions without ending up in a bad breakup or a bad relationship if you don't even know who you are, you don't even know what you're like? And that's where the slow down comes into play. So in my case, I'm going to slow down right now. In this point in my life, I'm going to slow down with the content creation. So I'm making this video right now. It's going to be the number 3 entry into the Driving Wisdom series. And yeah, I'm making it. At first I wasn't going to make it because I was having kind of a rough day today, and I don't know if that's going to translate in the way that I sound or the way that I look. But yeah, I did some meditation, got feeling a little bit better, on the way to go get some stuff that I need for the house. So yeah, I just wanted to make some content to put out something. Maybe I'm gonna do a long form video every 2 weeks, every 3 weeks, depending, and short form content like shorts and stuff. Now that I have help that I'm getting on that, and the camera that's being used for the shorts are looking much better than the camera that I'm using right now, which is my phone. It's a Samsung Galaxy S24 Plus, I think it is. Yeah, so the difference in the shorts to these long form videos is gonna be crazy high until the day comes that either like phones can match that video camera that's being used, or or like you know, once I start getting a better production, if I see that, you know, that this content creation path can lead me to the success that I'm looking for, which is twofold. I'm looking for, obviously I want the monetary success, right? I want to make money because I haven't made money in a long time, and I'm tired of being broke. I'm tired of not earning what I deserve to earn, because I'm not a bad person. I actually am rather a good person. I keep to myself. I usually mind my business, except when I'm trying to help people in terms of, you know, self-love and stuff like that, and just trying to lift people up. I want to lift people up, and I want people to feel good about themselves, because the better they feel about themselves, the easier it is for them to not hate on others who are feeling good about themselves. You know, like a lot of times, you know, you'll see that people are feeling good about themselves, or they're happy, or they're posting their happy life, and people might not, like these days, I don't know if people are more willing to go to their profile and troll them and say like, oh, I like screw you, or I don't like you, or whatever kind of negative stuff that's usually coming from jealousy. But whether they are engaging with those people or not, they see those kind of things, and it's a lot easier to be like, oh, well, I don't have that, or like, why do they think that they deserve it, or that they're good enough for it, or whatever, if I don't have it. But the thing is, when you start loving yourself, like when you start learning how to love yourself. Now, when I say love yourself, I don't mean like there's a light switch. It's not an on or off thing. It's a gradual thing. The spectrum of love is infinite, and by that I'm not talking about sexuality. I'm talking about actual love, like the love that you feel for something or someone or for yourself. The potential for that, the scale is infinite. There's no limits to it, right? You can't die from a love overdose. You know what I'm saying? You can't be hurt by loving yourself or loving life too much. Like, yeah, you might make some decisions that are questionable, but at the end of the day, like, there's no limit for how much you can and should love. So, you know, basically what I'm trying to say is, the more you love yourself, and the more you love yourself, the more you start to love life. And the more you start to love life, the more easy it becomes to love everything in life, right? Because if you're somebody like me who's spiritual and who's trying to connect to deeper truth and mysticism and knowledge and stuff that science is kind of just catching up to now, and still a lot of people don't believe in the stuff that the science is showing, which has been suggested for thousands and thousands of years. But if you're somebody like me who believes that we each, every single one of us, is God having a unique experience through this human vessel that we are. So like, for example, I'm God, you're God, everybody who watches this is God, and everybody who doesn't watch this is not God, because we don't want them around here. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just messing around. No, but like every single being, and not just me, not just us humans, like everything that exists. So everything that exists, I believe at least, is created of God. So there is the energy that you look at. When you look at matter, it's 0.0000001% of the total energy that's involved in the matter, right? So it's a minuscule, teeny tiny, microscopic thing, but yet everything that we perceive and see around us is matter. I'm touching this wheel, I'm driving in a physical van. I cannot, I still need to be looking to my left and my right. I'm not trying to crash, I'm not trying to get a ticket, I'm not trying to hurt myself or others. But this is a very small aspect of reality, is the whole 3D space-time continuum. It's a very small aspect of reality. It's not reality. Science is starting to confirm that. But let's say you don't believe that, right? Let's say that you don't believe, or first let's finish on the topic. So let's say you do believe, as I do, that everything is God and we're God and we're all having this unique experience as God. So when you start to love everything, you're loving God. And then when you love God, you're loving all of God's creation, which you then start to realize is not limited to just you and your life. It's every single thing that's around us. Everything that exists is God. Everything that we create and that we form into other things is forming little tiny aspects of God. But the wholeness of God is in every single thing, in every molecule that exists, right? So everything that exists is God. So if you believe that, then that makes it easier for someone like me to be like, all right, I gotta love my neighbor. Ironically, right? Like that's kind of been talked about for millennia. But I need to love other people. It doesn't necessarily mean you have to like them. For example, there are people that do rub you the wrong way, and I'm pretty sure not everybody loves me or likes me. Everybody probably loves me because they can tell that I'm trying to give them love, but I don't know if everybody likes me. And that's okay. Like, we don't have to like everybody, but when you love somebody, you don't have to like them to do what's respectful, what's right. So respect is a form of love, right? So let's say there's somebody, I don't get along with people who are like what I would call arrogant or like think too highly of themselves. And I don't get along with people who are show-offs, right? Who want to show off, whether it's money, looks, objects, trips, whatever it is. I don't care for people that like showing off too much. Now, that doesn't mean that if somebody that I don't like posts a picture saying like, or a video saying like, no, I'm having such a fun time in this, wherever vacation thing that I'm at, that doesn't mean that just because I don't like that personality or I don't like that type of person that I'm going to go on their posts or on their videos and comment saying like, oh, I can't stand you, you're a piece of crap, like stop showing off, I hate you. See, like that would be an act of hate. I said that unconsciously without even thinking about it, but just getting into the character, it felt naturally to be like, oh, I hate you, I can't stand you, oh my God, you're garbage, you suck. But when you love yourself, it starts becoming easier to love others, and then you realize, you know what? This person might enjoy every single thing that for me is a red flag and I cannot stand. So they might enjoy going to clubs. They might enjoy spending lots of money on alcohol or like drugs or whatever. They might enjoy talking trash about other people, and to them that might be the joy of their life. And for me, I'm just like, oh, like what a low life thing to do. Like, why do you got to talk bad about other people? Like, just if you don't have nothing nice to say, don't say it. But instead of coming at them with that judgment, which is a form of hatred, you know what I mean? Like, it's not saying that we should be stupid. Like, if somebody's doing bad stuff and doing things that you know is dangerous or is not safe or good for you or your family, don't invite them in. People think of love and self-love and being loving as being somebody like Jesus Christ, but it is like being like Jesus Christ. But we got to distinguish between, if you believe that the New Testament or whatever, the Bible is the real story, which is a whole nother can of worms, that's up to whoever wants to believe that or not. But if you believe that that is the true story of Jesus Christ, you will see that there was a time where he said, if somebody smacks you, smack the other cheek, right? But when he went into the temple and pulled the whips out and started tossing tables across, he wasn't turning the other cheek there, right? And there's parts where he talks about like, oh, that like, I'm coming humbly riding on a donkey, but when I return, I'm coming with a sword in my mouth to cut the evil or whatever, right? So what I'm trying to say is, being loving is not, it doesn't mean being weak. It doesn't mean like just like forgiving everything that everybody does and letting them do it. Forgiving is different than allowing, right? So forgive people when they do stupid things to you or things that piss you off. But you got to understand this, guys. I know this doesn't sound like it makes sense, but give it a shot. Try this. When you forgive somebody, even if the thing that they did, you have 100% justification in hating that person and feeling this way about that person and never wanting to do anything with them again. Like, I'm not going to speak to my father no matter what, because besides the fact that he was abusive to me when I was a kid, like, when we tried to reconcile, he did the one thing that I told him, that if he did that again, if he ever told me that he doesn't love me again, that I'll never talk to him again. And he did that. And now for me, if he dies tomorrow, if something happens to him terrible and it goes bad for him, I'm not going to cry for him. I'll feel bad because that's still my father. At the end of the day, he did what he was able to do to help raise me, even though a lot of it was stupid, but he did what he had to do. He taught me how to defend myself, because of him, whether I like it or not. I have the instinct of a killer, so I know that if, God forbid, I'm ever in a situation where I need to defend myself and I'm close enough to the person, I could do some serious damage and save my life or the lives of others. So I know what I can do, and I know what I can't do. I'm grateful for the good things that my father did, which were not many, but he does have some good things under his belt. He taught me some good things, and I am grateful for that. But see, I could love my father, but I don't like him. I'll never talk to him again, ever, 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 ever. If he has a change of heart one day and he becomes a different person who's no longer narcissistic, or no longer allowing narcissistic desires or impulses to control his life, and he becomes the type of father that I wish I always would have had, yeah, that would be awesome. But I still wouldn't talk to him, because I'm a man of my word. If I tell somebody that if you ever tell me something like that again, we're done, I'm never talking to you again, that's it, we're done. I can forgive them, I can forgive him and hope that nothing bad happens to him, but at the same time, I'm not gonna hope that that bad things happen for him. And the same token, I'm not going to go back and open the door to somebody who I said that I was going to keep it closed for, because if you close a door in your life, that chapter should be done. So, so going back to the main course of the video, my long form content, I don't know if it's always going to be like this, but for now, this is just what I'm doing. I don't have a big production team. I have somebody helping me with shorts for now, with shorts and some posts that we'll be doing. I haven't done any with him yet, but we're going to do some posts together, and he's helping me with the shorts. And this guy's awesome, man. You got to see the camera work. It looks really good. It should be, he should be sending it to me soon, and I'll be uploading it to all the socials or whatever. But yeah, I decided that I wanted to slow down also with the commitment to doing long form content. At first I was trying to do it weekly, and then after that it took me about 2 weeks, and I'm thinking now every 2 to 4 weeks or something like that, because I don't want to give content that's long that you guys are going to watch it. If you decide to actually watch it and listen to the whole thing, I don't want to make content that's going to be not helpful, or that doesn't have a point, or that I'm not inspired by, right? So I want to give information that's practical, that can help. I try to be as down to earth as possible. I know sometimes I'm in the clouds. I'm a very creative dude. I'm very I have a huge imagination. I'm very excitable. When good things are going on. But yeah, excitable in a good way. I get excited, you know what I mean? But yeah, I'm very passionate and all that kind of stuff. But I just feel because I don't know who my audience is yet, and I don't know who I'm serving. I know that my book, there's one thing I'm very confident about. My book, A Lover's Compendium, I know that if somebody takes the chance with that book and they buy it or read it or whatever, and they actually don't just read it, but they're all right, I'm gonna commit to doing this for a month, 2 months, 3 months. I know for a fact that if they commit to actually doing it, they're gonna see some huge changes. Because the reason I'm saying these things is because I've seen some huge changes in my life. I didn't feel last year, I didn't think that I could make content like this, because I still felt a little bit hypocritical, because I was I'm here talking about love and being good and positive and all this stuff, but I still get pissed off. I still throw tantrums every now and then. I still rage. I still get very frustrated and annoyed with people, especially when people hate on you for no reason. That's the worst, because you're at least give me a reason, if you're just hating on me for nothing, just go away. Why are you here? Nobody needs you. I don't want you. I'm not inviting you. So it's just do I still deal with those things? Yes, for sure. But I'm getting better at catching myself and not allowing myself to go all the way as as to like talking crap back to the person, or debating, or going back and forth for too long. Like if I see that a person is just saying the same thing over and over again, and I'm not getting through to them, and they're not listening to me, and they're not even giving me like a chance to be understood, I'm just gonna drop it with them, because I don't have time or energy for that anymore. Today I was playing Halo Infinite, trying to like unwind and trying to de-stress, and I kept on getting the worst. I play Team Fiesta, and I was playing that mode, and like you get random weapons, and obviously you get like 3 random teammates if you don't play with friends. And because I don't have any friends that I play with, I was playing Fiesta, and I just kept on getting the worst loadouts, the worst weapons, the worst teammates. It was like, I'm not even the best player, so it's like you need 50 points to win, and I was always getting between like 10 to 20, but then when everybody else on your team is only getting 1 or 2, your 10 to 20 is not 50. It's not going to add up. So I was starting to rage, and I was catching myself getting angry and angry and angry, to the point where I'm like punching the side of the seat where I'm sitting on, and I'm like, you know, I'm super pissed off. And I was like, you know what, I'm gonna slow down. And that's, you know, part of the reason I made this video, is sometimes we gotta slow down in things that are for leisure or entertainment as well. So I play video games for leisure, I play video games for entertainment, but if I'm being completely honest, video games were my escape in childhood. When I was going through the trauma with my father or my mother, which were different types of traumas, one was physical, one was mental and emotional. When I was going through all those traumas, video games was my escape, because I can get, like, my imagination would allow me to go into these worlds that I'm playing. Imagine that I'm the characters. Imagine that I'm going through the story, that I'm the hero, and I'm saving the world. And when you're saving the world, you don't think so much about the fact that you got beaten up for no reason, or that, you know, your mother would go out in the middle of the night to the club to sell drugs because she couldn't get a job and she didn't have any help or like any like husband or whatever to rely on. And my mom grew up in an era where women were not as independent, even though she was rather independent for what it was. But yeah, she just always complained about being alone and not having any help with money, so she would do what she had to do. She went out and she sold, which at the time it was probably just weed. I don't know what she sold, to tell you the truth. She never told me what she sold, but I do know that she sold stuff when she was younger. But she said she stopped doing that like later when she got married. But anyway, I digress. My point is, video games are an escape for me, and they always have been, but I need to slow down in what I play, because first of all, I'm not the same kid that I was back when I was going through that stuff. When I was a kid, yes, I played competitive games that were difficult, and I used to rage a lot more, and I was a lot more competitive, and man, Street Fighter, anything after 2 was my jam. So like Street Fighter 2, Championship Edition, Turbo, Super Street Fighter 2, then the Alpha games. Alpha 1 wasn't I didn't love Alpha 1, but Alpha 2, I played Alpha 2 a lot, and then when Alpha 3 came out, forget about it. I lived on that game, and I took great pride in my Balrog and in my Adon. Those characters, I was nasty with them. But, you know, that competitive feeling when you're playing against, it's the same thing as like when I'm boxing, you know, like I've had that competitive side to me always, but the competitive feeling of when you're going against somebody who's good, who knows what they're doing, and who could beat you on occasion, right? Who's able to beat you, but you win, that feels like the biggest adrenaline rush that you can get. That just feels like, holy crap, this is amazing, because you're beating somebody of equal or greater skill. It just makes you feel like almost like a god. You're like, wow, man, I can't believe I did that. That's so cool. So, you know, I was going through that, and when I was younger, I used to love that. But I still have that desire every now and then. Like, I wanted to get that feeling with Halo, but I was just being outclassed by having a crappy team, and I couldn't carry myself. I couldn't carry the whole team. So I needed to wait for, basically, long story short, I ended up uninstalling the game because I was raging too much. It was pissing me off too much. And I just decided at this point in my life, I'm not trying to rage. I'm not trying to get angry or frustrated. I'm not trying to fight or compete with anybody anymore. And this is going to be the same thing with my YouTube and my social medias. Yes, I will deliver content, especially when I see the need for it. But, you know, stress killed my mom, man. Like, you know, like she was the kind of person that she used to always say, like, oh, I want to help people, just like me. I get that from her. She wanted to help people and she wanted to do good things for people, but then when she would help people and she would do good things, she would expect things in return, and those things were never given to her. So it was never enough for her to just, feel like oh, I'm helping and that's enough. Like, she wanted to feel like she was helped and she was getting something back. And she died miserably because of that, because she was doing the same thing to me. She would be like, oh, let me help you with something. Let me help you. And I would be like, Mom, I'm all right. I don't need help. I got it. My wife and I were taking care of the kids, which in retrospect, it would have been great if my mom was able to help me with the kids, but she was just not in the mental state to be able to help me with my kids. So my wife and I, we raised our 4 kids by ourselves. And yeah, stress killed my mom. I used to tell her all the time, I was like, Mom, you gotta stop stressing out over stupid crap. You need to stop doing that, because if you keep doing that, it's gonna kill you one day, because stress is what develops all these diseases and sicknesses, and is a major contributor to what the causes for heart attack, stroke, stuff like that. And of course, sure enough, she kept on going. I stopped talking to her for like the last month or so before she died. But she died alone in her room from a heart attack. And my stepfather didn't even know that it happened, because apparently she always comes into the room after her dialysis. She would just go into the room and take a nap. So he didn't think anything of it. He didn't know that she was just dead there in the bed. So it was tragic, and it made me sad, because, my mom passed away. It didn't make me sad that she died. It made me sad that she died so early and it could have been avoided. I feel like if she would have just worked on herself a little bit more, to love herself, to actually care about herself and stop stressing out so much, if she would have slowed down just a little bit, I feel like she would still be here with us today, and I wouldn't have gotten so mad at her that I would have needed to cut her off. So, for what it's worth, I've given you a lot of reasons why I'm slowing down and why you should slow down. But yeah, do what you have to do. I'm not saying don't do chores, don't do what's important, don't take care of you and yours. You got a job, you got to hustle, still do that. But when you're not doing the job, when you're not hustling, when you're not taking care of kids, or doing cleaning or whatever, or you're not doing whatever it is that you do that you have to do, slow it down, man. Take that time to do some meditation. If meditation is too weird or esoteric for you, or you just don't feel like you have the time to do it, just close your eyes and take some slow deep breaths and relax, or just try not to watch or do things that are going to engage your mind. Let your mind just chill. Your mind needs a break too. Your heart, your brain, your mind, all of it needs some time to relax. And believe it or not, it's not always relaxing. So when you sleep, your brain sometimes is racing. You're thinking 1,000 thoughts a minute. So, you got to give yourself some time to relax, and teach your body how to do that. Because if you can do that, if you can learn to love yourself enough to teach your body how to slow down and take it easy, then you could live a longer life at the very least, and quite possibly a better life, I would argue. Because if you're happier, if you're loving yourself, you're just going to be happier in general. Things won't bother you as much as they used to. So imagine like this is the scale, right? If it used to bother you over here, this is the max, it might start going down to here, and maybe you don't notice it until it gets to here. But the more you do it, the more you learn how to slow down, the more you learn how to relax. And of course, I'm always going to say meditation, because it works wonders for me, and it's such a great tool. And it's why I was even able to make this video today, because I texted my wife saying I wasn't even going to be able to make a video today, even though I wanted to, because I was so pissed off from the Halo incident. But yeah, guys, for what it's worth, it's free advice. The video's here, less than 30 minutes. I'm gonna go cut it when I get home, probably edit a little bit, and then just get it out to you guys. And yeah, just hope that this serves you. So yeah, guys, I would love to hear from you. I don't know who my audience is, but I would love to find you. If I could serve you, if I can help you. Oh, and one last thing, as I was recommended, I don't know what the pricing is going to be yet, but I will be doing coaching for those who are interested in it. And just understand that with me, if you ever do coaching with me, or if you're ever learning from me, you're sometimes going to be told things that are going to upset you. They're going to get you very frustrated. You might even want to knock me out one of those days. I ask that you refrain from doing that, please. But yeah, my point is, I go deep, because I go deep with myself. And I'm not going to do something for you that I wouldn't do for myself. So if you're willing to take that, I need you to have a thick skin. I need you to have patience, and I need you to be compliant. You need to be able to do the stuff that I tell you I'm going to do. Because if I tell you to do the stuff and you don't do it, I'm not going to take you on as a client, But that's going to be an option that I'm going to discuss it more with some people, and we'll figure out what the availability is going to be for that. But yeah, CGR here, the author of A Lover's Compendium. See you later. Love better, guys.